And now on the line is Jennifer Payne. Jennifer is the Business Development Manager from CycleUp, which is a social enterprise of the Roscommon Women's Network. Jennifer, welcome to Near FM.
Hi, delighted to be here. Thank you very much for having us.
Okay, Jennifer, I have personally been into your Roscommon Women's Network charity shop in Castlereagh a few times over the years, but not in a good while, I have to say. Most of our listeners listening to our interview today, though, on Near FM are living in Dublin. For the benefit of those listeners, Jennifer, can you start off by telling me more about who the Roscommon Women's Network are in general?
Yeah, absolutely, Darren. So the Roscommon Women's Network was set up to help the women and families, really, within County Roscommon. And as you say, we have a charity shop there in Castlereagh and Roscommon. But there is also a training centre, and we had a drop-in centre. And then from that, the women are the ones who lead, and they decide what is needed within the county, where we can go. We have projects that involve intercultural projects, that involve people from all around the county. They made a textile project this year that was launched and is now hanging in the centre. We also have Seeking Safety, which is another fantastic project, which is a peer-led project and would help people overcome addiction of any type. And it's all peer-led, which means it's helping each other. And it's a really fantastic project. It is a national project, and we are one of the rural participants in that. But from the Roscommon Women's Network, CycleUp grew. And again, like we were talking about the charity shop, the ladies in the charity shop were really unsure what was happening when there were clothes that came in that they couldn't sell. They could have had rips or stains or just past their best sometimes, or had just stayed in the shop for just too long, really. That happens and they pile up. So they would be sent off in the clobber bags. You will have seen, maybe you've had collections at schools and places like that, or when you take your clothes to the bins, near the recycling bins, that's where they would all go. And not always do they go where we think they're going. So these ladies went to the Rediscovery Centre in Ballymun and just thought it was a fantastic place. And they decided to learn how to upcycle textiles. And that's really where CycleUp began.
So you got the idea from Ballymun. Is it happening in Ballymun as well? And do you know, is it happening in other places around the country or world?
It is. So again, it's something that I think people are now a little bit more aware of, that we need to use less. We need to reuse and make good what we already have. Something that I'm sure all our grandparents definitely would have been doing. If you had a hole in something, you repair it, whereas now we tend to just throw it away, or we buy 3 or 4 of one thing, maybe not even use them. The amount of clothes that we get into the charity shop now that still have labels on and are still perfectly good for using, it's great if you go to the charity shop and you want to buy some. But again, we need to really think about what we're doing. And so the ladies here decided that they do something with those textiles. So now we get clothes and material of any kind from the charity shop that is in really good condition still, or we can deconstruct, which means if there was a hole or a stain on it, we could take that out. We take all the buttons, the zips, everything like that, and repurpose them, really. So the products here are made into absolutely fantastic bags. We have a yoga collection and cushions and hats and basically anything that they can come up with. And like you say, this has been done in Ballymun in the Rediscovery Centre. They also do upcycling of all different types of materials. It could be paint they're doing, bicycles, and they have a whole selection. Here in Roscommon, we aren't blessed with as much space as maybe they have. So we're in an old church building here. It's very cold this morning, but we are warming up. And yeah, look, we try and use as much textiles as we can, and our aim is to upskill the women of County Roscommon as well as the environmental impact that we're having. And we put all the money that we get into training people and upskilling people, women mainly in the county.
Okay, when you say you upcycle these goods, do you mean repair the goods, or actually make them better than they originally were, or what's the story?
So upcycling of textiles would be involving pretty much, so we've done it before. We've had a leather jacket that has come into us. It was actually a very sentimental leather jacket that belonged to somebody's uncle who sadly passed away, but it was too big to be worn. So we deconstructed that. So we take all the buttons, all the zips, all the pieces, and very carefully take them apart. And we made that leather jacket into a fantastic, actually made 2 bags and 2 coin purses. So it's things like that we can do, that we can take something, a pair of trousers, a pair of jeans, an old skirt, anything like that could be made into something else. So it's not usually, it doesn't look like what it started life as. By the end of it, sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. We don't actually repair clothes. You could go to a seamstress or something like that, but because we're funded by the government, we can't displace anybody. So in most towns and most cities, there would be plenty of people who could repair the products for you, your jeans or your any type of clothing, that they'd be able to help you with that. So our job is, when they aren't able to be used for that purpose anymore, that we will keep them in circulation by them making them into something completely different, usually.
Sounds like a fantastic idea. And your enterprise CycleUp is actually funded by the EU Transition Fund, isn't it? Can you tell me more about who the EU Transition Fund are and how you became chosen by them?
Absolutely, yeah. So we came across it before. So the EU Transition Fund in Ireland, obviously it's EU-wide. Here in Ireland, it's the fund that we were involved in was to try and find more jobs for people in the Midlands. We were involved in the Midlands project, and we got funding for a skills and innovation project within CycleUp. So our funding means that we can find new ways of using these textiles. So it gives not me, because I'm not very good at sewing, but the ladies here, just gives them the ability to be completely creative with what they come up with. And we then go and sell those. We try them out. We try new options of basically anything that they can make. And the fund here gives us that ability. It's also given us the ability to train way more people, be it in sewing and upcycling of textiles, so that they can do it themselves at home, so that they can look for self-employment, or maybe even, hopefully, would be the plan, that they get jobs in the future. We do work with what is the most marginalised of groups around here as well. So we'll be reaching out to the communities to find people who wouldn't normally be able to be looking for jobs. We'd obviously train them and upskill them in textile upcycling, but we also give them kind of all-round skills training as well. It's really important that when you've been out of the job market for whatever reason it be, that you're really supported in trying to get back into work, and that's what we try and do here at CycleUp.
I meant to ask you this towards the start of the interview, but when you say Roscommon Women's Network have an intercultural project, so there are women from around the world in the network, are there?
Absolutely, women from everywhere. It'd be people who are living here in County Roscommon now, that we would work with, but they have come from around the world, which is why we chose the intercultural project at that point, because we were able to involve different cultures. It was a lovely project. They came together, they made a textile piece, which is now hanging, like I say, in Castlereagh, but it was the process behind it and the social networking. Every time they met, somebody else would make food to bring that would be from their own culture and bring it together. And it was just a nice way of integrating everybody into a new culture and seeing where everybody's come from and understanding the differences and what they're bringing to Roscommon and to our country, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to calling into your shop the next time I'm in Castlereagh. And you spoke at TUS in Athlone recently, didn't you? Can you tell me more about this?
That's right. So we had an event. It was run by the EU Just Transition Fund, and it was to really show the progress, I suppose, of just some of the projects that have been funded by the EU JTF. Like, there are so many projects that have been funded and that will be funded from this. And really, I suppose what came of the day and what came from us speaking was that it's a really diverse group. There is funding available. It's all about sustainability, getting jobs back into the country, and reusing and looking at how we are living again.
Okay.
So we.
Okay, it was great talking to you for the first time today, Jennifer. And as I said, the next time I'm in Castlereagh, I'll call into your shop to have a look and might buy some stuff, hopefully. Before we go, can you or do you want to tell our listeners anything more about that you might have planned with CycleUp for the future?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have an online shop. Obviously, we are based in Roscommon, and our shop is in Roscommon. So for anybody that can't make it down to us, might not be able to call into us, we have the CycleUp.ie as our online shop and our social media. And you'll be able to follow our journey, and it'd be great if people could follow our journey. Anybody that's interested in the EU Just Transition Fund, maybe that you're looking to apply for it, maybe you just want to know what the benefits of it are, we'd be really happy to share that with everybody and share our journey. Have a look at all the new product innovations. Let us know what you think. If anybody has any ideas of things that we could do with upcycling textiles, we'd love to hear from people as well, because I think the possibilities are endless, and we'd love to hear what people think and what they'd love to see us give a try at anyway.